I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-888-535-3847. 1-888-535-3847. That's 1-888-535-3847. 1-888-535-3847.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brakes, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome to Sports Scene on this very hot July 9th, 2014. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us for our weekly interview show right here from noon to 1. Also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Sports interview show that I host. Glad you're with us. You're home for CBS News. Tell your friends about 1650. Find me on Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup as well, presented by the Egg Bistro. Bill Oakes, David Macklin, and Brenda Tusing will join us today right here. Sponsors on GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors, and also on Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Shop right there. Of course, browse, visit, and shop all you want on Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Of course, right here, the sponsors this month on WHKT, Old Town Tavern, Fink's Car Care, Spaghetti Eddie's, Battlefield Guns and Ammo, Crawl Space Stores. Again, GJBTV.com, Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com for all your business needs in Hampton Roads. And, of course, right here every week for Sports Scene. And, of course, next week we're going to have the fans right here in the audience, listeners of the show, talking about the various hot topics in sports like LeBron James, the Redskins, and much, much more. Stay tuned for Sports Scene on News Talk 1650. We'll be back after these messages.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddie's, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddie's. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
But first, let me take a selfie.
All right, welcome back right here live on the radio. News Talk 1650, your 10,000-watt home for CBS News in Hampton Roads. Also, tunein.com. Hear it anywhere in the world. Type in WHKT in the search box. This is Sports Scene right here. For more, log on to gjbtv.com and hamptonroadsonlinemall.com. Well, it's summertime. Great, epic event at the Wimbledon last week, of course. And of course, you talk about tennis, you talk about golf. It's that time of the year where those two sports are very relevant. And right now, a big event coming up next month, not too far away from here in Winston-Salem, is the Winston-Salem Open. We're going to talk tennis with Bill Oakes, the tournament director. Bill, welcome to Virginia Beach.
Thanks, Greg. It's great to be on.
Always a pleasure, my friend. And let's talk about your background. And before we start, I remember when I went to George Mason, I got to tell you a little story. I graduated in 1989. The next year, I worked at Donald Dell's tournament, which is now the City Open. Back then, it was the Legg Mason and Agassi and Grab all played in that. It was Pro Serve TV, and they did it in 1990. They didn't do a whole lot afterwards, but were you part of that production? Because I know you were involved a lot with TV.
Well, I actually worked for ProServe starting in 1983.
Wow, okay.
I grew up in the D.C. area,
Sure.
purely coincidentally on this. So I actually started as a ball kid in the mid-'70s on that event, and started working for them in 83 and worked, they were acquired and bought by a variety of companies over the years, and worked for them till 2001. So it was my first job, and it was a great one. Being involved in sports, that tournament, when you were at George Mason, I don't know, it was the DC, it was the Sovereign Bank, the DC National Bank. I'm not sure what it was in that.
So many different names though back then. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I do have some TV, but I didn't start doing TV till probably 2003 or 2004. So that was well before my destroying the tennis, trying to single-handedly destroy the tennis channel.
Well, what I always liked about
on a show there.
Yeah, what I always liked about that event though was, Bill, that they always got a lot of wild card players in there. Guys that played a lot of the Mid-Atlantic tournaments, Paul Goldstein, of course. Then you talk about Jimmy Arias, who was a world-class player. But the guys always flocked that tournament. Agassi played in it, Jim Grab, Malavey, Washington. There was really a who's who of people that Donald Dell got there every year.
It really was. And in those days, American tennis just had a lot more names in the top 100 than we do now. So you could fill up your field with a lot of American guys. But that tournament in the 70s, Arthur Ashe, Jimmy Connors, Ken Rosewall, you had people from the tournament there started in 69. It's been around. It's been a very successful event. I mean, they're getting ready for their 50th year in just a few years. Holy mackerel. That's going to make me feel old.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and of course they played on clay over the years, hard courts and so forth. And of course, let's talk about your event, of course. It's the hard court season. You got Cincinnati, you got Washington, you got all these events coming up before Winston-Salem. Fairly new event. How did it all get started in Winston-Salem? I know they've had the Davis Cup there before in the past, correct?
That is correct. A group of businessmen here in the Winston-Salem area in 2000 bid on a Davis Cup event. So fall of 2001, the first international event in the United States after 9/11 was actually a Davis Cup tie in Winston-Salem versus India. And they did a real good job. And then a few years later hosted Spain, and then the year after that hosted France. And the folks here kind of realized, hey, we got a pretty good tennis community, in, most people would call little old Winston-Salem. And we've got tremendous corporate support. When most people don't think about Winston-Salem as a corporate hub, but BB&T Bank, Krispy Kreme, Reynolds American, Hanes Brands, all are headquartered here. Wachovia used to be headquartered until they were bought by Wells Fargo. It is a fairly vibrant business community. So when a tournament the week before the Open became available just a couple of years ago, the USTA, who owned the tournament, contacted the folks here, and they bought it from the USTA and moved it to Winston-Salem and built a new facility. It's just we've been very lucky the week before the Open with some really great fields.
For those fans that have been to the Washington event, how many courts do you have there? I know you have singles and doubles there, correct?
Yeah, we have a main draw field of 48 players, which is fairly similar to the Washington tournament. They may have 56. And we play on 5 courts, a stadium court that holds about 4,500 seats. The Washington tournament has about 7,400, I think, in their main court. And, the big difference, they only play at night. Early in the week, and we play during the day and night. We, we're not too far from the Hampton Roads area. Actually, one of our interns this year is a Old Dominion University varsity soccer player.
There you go.
Who's interning for us this year. So, but we get people from about 26 states, 7 or 8 countries that make the trek to Winston the week before the U.S. Open.
Talking to Bill Oakes right here. This is Sports Scene on News Talk 1650 right here at WHKT at 12:17 right here live on this July 9th. Also on TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT. And you mentioned branding too, Bill. And of course that's what it's all come down to: sponsorships, branding, social media. So many relevant ways you can promote on radio, TV, and the internet now.
You're exactly correct, and for us, we're not in a top tier market, and we do not actually sell a title sponsorship. Our branding is for the city. The folks that sponsor our tournament want us to keep Winston-Salem as the main sponsor, so they have said to me and to my staff, we don't want you to sell a title sponsorship. We don't want you to become the XYZ company championships or company open. So we are really, we're a nonprofit. We're really here to help promote Winston-Salem, the Triad, the state of North Carolina, and it's been really neat because we're also the only professional tennis tournament in the United States this year, other than the U.S. Open, that's on a major broadcaster. Our finals are on CBS.
Absolutely, and of course, how does that work? Because sometimes we've had a golf tournament down here in Kingsmill. It used to be a men's tournament here from '81 to 2002. The women have been here from 2003 and then to 9, and then they were off for a couple of years and came back. And the big issue was that title brand sponsor. But I guess, like you said, Winston-Salem is a close-knit community. They don't mind, but that's almost unheard of this day and age where everything is sponsored. Even this chat I'm talking with you right now is sponsored. I mean, everything is sponsored.
Well, we have 3 really great presenting sponsors that all chipped in with the theory of keeping Winston-Salem the title. And there are 3 Winston-Salem-based companies, and so the mayor is my best friend.
Okay.
How bad can it be when I can go to him and say, look, I'm not asking for anything from you guys.
Yeah.
From financial support from the city. We don't ask them for a dime, but we're going to promote you to 110 countries around the world, and we're going to give you some spots, an opportunity to highlight and showcase the city and the area to people all around, whether it's on ESPN2 or CBS, or whether you're on Eurosport in Germany or ESPN Latin America, or they're just Sky Sports in England. It's a really neat opportunity, but it really is driven by the wonderful business community we have here in Winston, but also the vibrant tennis community. People come out and play. We just had a large tennis tournament here at Wake Forest University over the weekend, which kept the courts busy from 8 a.m. to dark for 4 straight days over a holiday weekend.
Wow.
I think we had 170 matches played, at our facility just on Monday.
And you're not too far from Atlanta. That's a really big tennis hotbed as well, as we're talking to Bill Oakes right here. And Bill, I got to ask you this. I do a lot of stage managing work for CBS, Fox, and ESPN on the side, and this is the last year CBS is doing the U.S. Open. What have their thoughts been with you? Because I know, ESPN is going to take over that in 2015 about doing your event. A little sentimental for them? Is there losing a little bit of tennis grap there?
I think they are. Mm-hmm. The folks that I deal with at CBS, they put on a good. They're good team players. They recognize that it's that ESPN has gotten a really good foothold within professional tennis, covering all the slams, but then really taking over Wimbledon and the Australian, from lock, stock, and barrel, and the U.S. Open is next. Look, it's a mixed bag. The CBS folks are great to deal with. Mm-hmm. That brand is really cool, but ESPN, is doing a lot. Is going to be doing a lot of really neat things and innovative things that I just don't think that the major broadcasters are going to be doing. I mean, you look at ESPN3 as an example where you can watch hundreds of live events, and what ESPN is able to do at the slams, we're hoping we'll be able to replicate along the U.S. Open, the Emirates Airline U.S. Open Series. And I think that those are things that we see as innovative that, ESPN is really looking to really put some big investment into the sport of tennis. But CBS has been such a good and strong partner for the U.S. Open and for our tournament. There's a little sentimentality about it, but it is just the changing landscape of the digital age in some sense.
Absolutely. I mean, they got a 1.9 rating for the Wimbledon final, but still you can't include apps and people watching in sports bars and something. It was just a great Wimbledon. And I got to ask you about that. But the problem is with tennis that I played, I've been ranked before myself, is not many American people know who American players are besides Serena Williams and John Isner. And John Isner is still not a household name. I know he is in Winston-Salem, but he's not a household name like Connors, McEnroe, Sampras, Chang, Agassi. And I think it's really sad that American tennis is not relevant like it was 10 years ago.
Well, I would go back even further than that, Greg. I think the most integral single day in American tennis in the last 30 years was, I think it's November, I can't remember the exact date, 1989, the day the Berlin Wall came down. Because that really changed how Eastern Europe integrated with the world within athletics in a variety of areas, but it changed professional tennis, men's and women's, dramatically. If you look at how many Americans were ranked in the top 100 in the 80s, the women, it was probably like 60-something. The men, it was probably 40-something. And we just had that foothold in the game. The expansion of tennis into where those people are able to export stars, who a lot of them train in the United States. I mean, you look at Maria Sharapova, she may have Russia on her passport, but she's as an American as you or I. She's lived here since she was a little kid. She speaks, she hangs out. I mean, Dmitry Tursunov is ranked 30 in the world. I mean, he's not a household name, but that guy grew up in Sacramento. He, dude and, surfer lingo are part of his lexicon.
Sure.
It's very, it is a worldwide and global sport, but the other side of it is, they've come in, mostly Eastern Europeans, but also some South Americans and Spanish, and very hungry. I think Patrick McEnroe is doing a real good job at trying to turn around the player development group within the USTA. And look at Wimbledon this past weekend, and I'm not talking about the men's and women's singles. Look at at the boys junior event, which is really the telltale next step. That's who's up and coming. 3 of the 4 semifinalists were Americans.
Well, that's always good.
Both finalists were Americans, and Noah Rubin, a young man from Long Island, won the Wimbledon junior event. I think it was the last time that we had 2 Americans in the finals was the 70s.
Yeah.
It is not common that we have that kind of success at a tournament like that. So I really believe that we're not there, but the building blocks are being put in place to hopefully make some changes. Will we be at a point, Greg, that we'll have 45 guys at the top 100? Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm hoping we have some guys in the top 10.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't hear the names like Roddick or Roscoe Tanner, Stan Smith, Connors, McEnroe. I mean, those are the names that Americans remember, and hopefully Isner can get a Grand Slam win. I think that'll definitely help. Roddick got one, and in my opinion, he retired a little early, but we'll see. We got a few more minutes. Let's talk about your event. How's the field looking for the singles?
Well, it's looking good. We're going to release the full field later today, but we've got 38 of the top 76 players in the world. So we have 38 players already confirmed for the tournament.
Very nice.
And of that, all 38 players are ranked in the top 76 in the world, which, I'm pretty pleased that we get 50% of the top, arguably 75 players in the world. If you look at the NFL, if you had 38 of the top 75 coming to playing on any team, how dominant would they be in a game that in a game that really mattered? So John Isner is obviously our headline. He's from the area. He's currently ranked 12th in the world. We're real excited to have him. Jersey Janowitz, Sam Querrey, but I think it's really important that we're also highlighting some of the young and up and coming Americans that we're going to have here. Steve Johnson, Steve Johnson and Donald Young and Bradley Klon. And people will say, well, Donald Young, people that are tennis fans may go, Donald Young, he's been around for a long time. Guy's in his early 20s.
How about Sock?
And when you look, Sock is playing as well.
Okay, cool.
Look at the average age of a player ranked in the top 100 is just about 27 years old. So if you're 22, you're not even the average. So we've got guys that are really well positioned to continue to move up, and eventually Roger and Rafa are going to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, Milos Raonic, the Canadian Grigor Dimitrov. Dimitrov has played here. One of the things that I really like about our tournament, being the week before the Open, we get a lot of guys who are the next level. I mean, Dimitrov played here in 11. Kei Nishikori, who's 10th, played here in 11. Ernest Golbis, who I think is 12th, 11th or 12th, played here in 12. Jersey Janowitz played here. We get a lot of the guys who you'll see at the Open and the other Grand Slams, but you may not. They may be the up-and-coming guys right now, guys ranked in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And we've done a very good job with that, getting those guys that we've identified to continue to make their way to Winston-Salem.
And we'll be doing our TV show Sports Highlights on nnpstv.com and Cox Cable 47, 517 in Newport News. Our September show will be featured from the entire tournament there on August. So we're looking forward to that. Let me ask you this. A lot of times you hear the TV networks saying that certain sporting events go too slow. Fans, when you go to a game, they're on their phones. It's all digital. People don't have time to sit somewhere for 4 or 5 hours, whether it's a social event, sporting event, or nowhere. Baseball kinds of drags. Tennis is great because it's 2 out of 3. But sometimes those 3 out of 5 Grand Slams, they can drag a long time, too.
If you're sitting, I've sat for 4 hours at a court at Wimbledon to watch a match.
Were you there recently?
It's long, man. Greg, I agree with you, man. It's long. But one thing that the U.S. Open Series has tried to continually look at is innovation. Hawkeye, which is a lot of fun. The World Cup's now looking at goal line technology, but the Hawkeye, the kind of the radar and video to look at in and out ball. But that was something that really came through the U.S. Open Series, the blue courts. We're looking to continue to find innovative ways to make it fun for the fans and the people that watch on TV.
What color are your courts going to be?
Blue. I'm part of the series. Greg, I fall in line. I may not be a sheep in everything, but I'm a sheep in this one. I fall in line with the blue courts. But I do think it looks neat. I do like the blue courts. It's a lot better than the purple.
Yeah, but I like green.
Indian Wells did a couple years ago.
But you're taking away the tennis tradition, not you. But I think people still relate to tennis as green, clay courts, as charcoal. And grass is grass. When they start doing blue and beige and all these different colors, it looks like a rainbow in a fad. I personally like tennis courts green. Back in the day, remember they were green and red both. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. The one thing I will say is, watching it on TV, the blue makes a huge difference because the contrast with the yellow ball. I do get the traditionalist component, but look, I think that like everything, need to evolve in some ways.
Sure.
That doesn't mean we need to change it so the ball is the size of a golf ball, or but I do believe you need to stay relevant. You need to change. Look at the NBA when they added the 3-point shot. People thought that was heresy,
mm-hmm.
And I think it's been a fun, cool thing at all levels of basketball.
Bill, thanks a lot for joining us. Go ahead and give us your website and the dates one time.
August 16th through the 23rd, WinstonSalemOpen.com. We hope everybody from the Hampton Roads area can come down and visit.
Look forward to it, and I will see you there, my friend. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it, Greg. Take care and have a great summer.
My pleasure. You too. All right, Bill Oakes right there, the tournament director for the Winston-Salem Open. And, of course, you remember, Ken, back in the day, it was Connors and McEnroe, Stan Smith, Arthur Ashe. But you just don't see Americans dominating tennis anymore.
No, not really. Not like there was a renaissance for a while in the 70s, it seemed like, with Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs and
Chris
all those.
Evert, yeah.
Chris Evert. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just what happened.
And, well, Serena's getting older. She can only do but so much. And, Roddick is gone now. Blake is gone. And really, it's just, I just don't think Americans they're more into soccer now and swimming and sports like that and golf as opposed to tennis. Of course, always football, basketball, and baseball, but it seems like it's more about golf. Ken, take it away. We have a lot coming up.
Yep, and a quick look at traffic. That's 17 north and southbound James River Bridge. That bridge opening started a little late. It was scheduled for 12, started about 12:15. It's a long opening. Still, right now, the backup northbound is right around the small boat channel. So if you're heading for the James River Bridge, rather, be aware it's going to be a backup. Stop traffic right now, north and southbound for the James River Bridge opening. CBS News is next, followed by more of Sports Scene. It's 12:31.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan, dealing with the border crisis.
The current situation along the border is prompting us to reset our priorities across the entire immigration court system.
And Justice Department official Juan Osuna tells Congress that includes measures to fast-track the deportation of children who've entered this country from Central America.
These cases will go to the front of the line for adjudication, and immigration judges will be assigned to make sure that these cases are heard promptly and ahead of all others.
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson says it's the right move.
Put them into a hotel, feed them, and return them to the country of origins, because I can't think of a better signal to parents in Guatemala and El Salvador and Honduras.
U.S. officials now say 57,000 children have entered this country illegally since October. President Obama meets with one of his key immigration critics, Governor Rick Perry, during a Texas visit today. He's faced GOP criticism for choosing not to go to the border. CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner. Specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636. Bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by GJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors Page.
And always want to thank GJBTV.com, Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. They take care of this show right here on News Talk 1650. I want to thank our first guest, Bill Oakes, talking American tennis, of course. And, of course, he's running the Winston-Salem Open. Of course, everything is connected on Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. I want to tell you about 5 Points Family Diner, folks. This is the place in Norfolk you want to eat at, 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard. Give them a call at 855-0100. Open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Home-style cooking at affordable prices. $5.99 lunch specials weekdays from 11 to 4, like chop steak, beef liver, fried flounder, spaghetti, cheeseburger, grilled pork chop, yum, tuna or chicken salad sandwich. And, of course, today, all-you-can-eat chicken and dumplings right there. Very, very good. Excellent food for the good people at 5 Points Family Diner, once again, 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard. Go by there and see Hassan. He'll take care of you. 855-0100. Start your day at 5 Points Family Diner. You'll be glad you did. $6.99 for all you can eat. Chicken and dumplings. Yum. You got to go by there. 5 Points Family Diner at 6144 Chesapeake Boulevard. All right, let's get to the highlights right here before our next guest, David Macklin, former Penn State great. GJBTV.com for archive shows. Hit the YouTube link on the homepage. Just go to GJBTV.com and, of course, hit the YouTube link. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Save the date each Wednesday for Sports Scene from 12 to 1. Business Spotlight, of course, coming up a little bit later, featuring the Royal Chocolate. What Teased Me Off coming a little bit later. And, of course, sports highlights episodes are archived on NNPSTV.com. My background in radio and TV, of course, on NNPSTV.com, as well as GJBTV.com. In addition to the hot heat, Ken Johnson, the World Cup is winding down, of course, so a lot going on. Where's LeBron James going to go? And, of course, Jason Kidd. Of course, he's now with the Milwaukee Bucks. But we got our next guest coming up, Mr. David Macklin. After these messages, this is live on the radio, News Talk 1650. It is 12:35. Stay tuned.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brake, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your homestead and your business and quality of life can give you peace of mind, but there are some bad hombres out there. Keep it all safe with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. You can't take anything for granted, whether you're at the ranch or out on the trail. Call 757-410-7720. Log on to battlefield-guns.com and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com studio.
And welcome back right here to Sports Scene on News Talk 1650 WHKT. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. for Sports Scene. Right here, we hope you enjoyed our first guest, of course, Bill Oakes, Tournament Director for the Winston-Salem Open, talking tennis right here. Of course, the U.S. Open coming up next month, of course, and a lot of good stuff with tennis and golf going on. And we got What Teased Me Off a little bit later. And, of course, the World Cup still very hot in action as well. So this is really a hot time of the year. Baseball All-Star game coming up. People are looking forward to that. The Nationals and Orioles going on. So a lot of sports going on right now. But, of course, when you talk about the Redskins, too, of course, the name change, the summer camp as well. So there's a lot going on in the sports scene right here. And, of course, every Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. is Sports Scene, of course. And we can archive the show right here at GJBTV.com, Marketplace sponsors, of course, and go to the sponsors and also go to the homepage and click the YouTube link as well. Ken, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back after these messages for more of Sports Scene.
Chesapeake and Portsmouth is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brake, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
I see you move, I'm checking your smile, working your back like it's going out of style. Shake just a little bit faster.
All right, welcome back here to Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650. Hope you enjoyed our first guest right there, Bill Oakes, Tournament Director for the Winston-Salem Open. I want to tell you about No Forks Cheesesteaks and more, open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go by and see Patty and, of course, Ken. So many great restaurants in Virginia Beach, located at 5045 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Give them a call at 473-0087. Of course, find them on Facebook. They got great burgers right there at No Forks Cheesesteaks. Excellent menu, of course, sandwiches, hot dogs, daily specials. Patty will hook you up. Go by and see her once again at 5045 Virginia Beach Boulevard, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. All right, we're going to switch gears, talk a little football, golf here with David Macklin, who played at Menchville High School, Penn State, also played with the Colts and the Cardinals. David, how are you, my friend?
I'm excellent, Greg. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be back here in Virginia.
Very good. How are you staying cool? It's hot out there.
Oh man, I'm in Phoenix most of the time. Obviously I come back to Virginia, my family's here, but that heat out there is treacherous as well in Phoenix. So I'm pretty used to it. I'm actually happy to get a little humidity. It's good for the skin. All
right, what brings you down here to Hampton Roads?
Well, I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm excited about our golf event on Saturday. I just finished getting prolonged in a meeting, and I had to hurry up and jump on with you here on your big show. But we're doing a golf event at Kissiak Golf Course in Williamsburg. It starts at 9 a.m. in the morning, and that's the tee-off time. And you can go to www.27reasonsfoundation.org to register. And 100% of the proceeds from the golf event are going towards the athletic programs here in the 757. So that's something that I'm excited about. Obviously, I've been around the country, and I've seen other high school programs. And I think because we have so much talent that comes from this area, it's about that time that we start pouring back into our community as well.
Talking to David Macklin, former Penn State great, right here on Sports Scene. This is News Talk 1650 WHKT. It's 12:43 right here on this very hot July 9th. Right here, talking on the radio, talking online on TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT. And you talk about you've always given back to the camps with the kids back in the day at Todd Stadium and, of course, even at Fort Eustis. And, of course, talk about this event as well. What's special about this event?
Greg, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, what's special about this event, David? Tell us what's special about it.
What's special about it is, obviously it brings another dimension, to the area. Golf events aren't new. I'm not reinventing the wheel.
Sure.
But obviously we want to do more programs back here. We want to be diverse in what we do. Obviously we need some programs, and we're looking to put together programs that can build revenue, point blank period. Obviously get the community involved. Be able to, meet people, obviously get face-to-face with people, get them to know who I am. I haven't had a lot of chances to do that in the past because I've been out on the field. So I'm familiar with a lot of people back here. They're familiar with me. The biggest thing, one of my passions is obviously building, relationships and being able to build, people together, bring communities together, under one roof, and that's young people. That's helping the future out. So that's my goal right now. The mission. We changed the missions of the foundation. It's building character in today's youth through sports, And obviously that phrase encompasses me because I feel like, sports really help young people to develop those skills that they're going to need throughout life. Obviously, a lot of young people don't play sports, but I do believe that when they do play a sport, statistics show that the kids are more likely to succeed.
Yeah, and talk about the event one more time before we talk about some other football news. Give us the who, what, where, and when.
Kissiat Golf Course, July the 12th, Saturday at 9 a.m. That's the tee-off time. It's on Croker Road in Williamsburg.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's the cost?
We're excited. We got a lot. We're excited. We got a lot of people that's going to be called. It's called 27 Reasons Golf Event.
What's the cost, David?
The cost is going to be $500. We knocked it down from $1,000. We had a couple of teams to sign up. It's $500 a foursome. That's roughly $125 a person. And we do have 2 slots left for hole sponsors. It's $250 a hole. And obviously, we market you. We're going to have signs out on each hole, and we'll be talking about you too as well on our site. So that's something that we're excited about. And every inch of it, every dime of it is going in the hands of a gentleman that I trust very well. And we'll be monitoring all the funds and make sure that they all go out to the proper schools that we have picked for the year.
And give us the website one more time and the contact number.
27 is www.27reasons, REASONS Foundation.org. Yep. You can email us at info@27reasonsfoundation.org. And if you need to call, you can call in at 877-433-4484, and you can reach any one of us at that location, at that number.
We're talking to David Macklin, former Penn State player, played for the Colts as well and the Cardinals. And let me switch gears here. The Redskins training camp is coming to Richmond, and they played there last year. And I talked to a former NFL player that played for the Steelers, and him. I'm not going to mention his name out of respect, but it's almost like, David, like these guys need a break. They're on the road, an hour and a half away from training camp. They're away from their family. They're away from their friends. They're staying in a hotel or a dorm room just to appease some people. It's almost like they're really sacrificing, as that song says, turn down for what? You know what I'm talking about. And it's almost like, are they really looking out for the players where they're on the road away from their condition right there in Northern Virginia? It's tough.
I've always liked going away for training camp.
You did? Okay.
Some guys got different views.
Sure.
Training camp, if you before you reach the collegiate level, at least in football, I'm not going to say too much for basketball. Obviously, basketball is a little different in all the other sports. But college, you get away. College, you go. Obviously, some schools are there on their campus, but you get a time to get to school before all the other kids get to school. You're there on campus just by yourselves. You're in the training camp eating by yourselves. There's nobody else on campus. And on a professional level, it gives you that same type of feel. You get to get away. Yes, you go away from your family, but you don't have to deal with, having to stay up all night because you have to take care of your baby, or you get distractions from outsiders. It's a good time that you can focus in on that craft. And to me, being removed from the game, 2 years, 3 years here, for the amount of pay that these guys are getting for a short amount of time. If you can't dedicate 3 weeks of that time, of that pay structure that you're getting blessed with, to really get in solitude and obviously focus in on that craft so that you can be the best that you can be, I think it's a good thing that guys get away from the noise, especially teams that are in D.C., are in Miami, or in New York. Green Bay, all those teams, it's a different kind of story, because they're not in a big market. But I think it's very favorable for guys to get away and to get all the distractions out, because at any time, at any point, somebody can come and take your job.
True.
That's the real facts. So you really have no time. And obviously that's anybody out there. Obviously you do have your Pro Bowlers and all those guys, which is great. But I would say for majority of the guys like to get away and have that college feel for at least 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, nowadays, these guys, the teams are different. Nowadays, the guys are in camp 2 weeks. When I came in 2000 under Coach Moore, we were in training camp for 5 weeks.
Wow.
And we were in pads for 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks. So, that was the norm. Nowadays, it's just, obviously guys get, pads maybe one day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe have pads on and don't have, they'll have shorts on, but have the, have the top on. So we laugh about stuff like that. A lot of the older guys, we laugh about that. But
sure.
Hey, it is what it is.
Hey.
So yeah. I know I kind of went around that answer, but hey, at the end of the day, it's for me, it was great to get away.
It's all good. I've known you since you've been a kid. Talking to David Macklin, former Penn State great, played with Peyton Manning with the Colts. So you're amazed how he's still going strong even today with the Denver.
I am. Peyton's a competitor, and I have to take it off to him. Take my hat off to him. He's a student of the game. Somebody who I've played with, and to see him out there still doing what he does, is quite amazing. But he does everything he has to do. He prepares himself. So when Peyton gets on the field, he's already 95% prepared. And that's mentally first, and
sure.
then physically. So I'm excited. I don't know how many years he has left, but I do hope he kind of bows out here pretty soon, so he can live a good, healthy life.
Absolutely. A couple of real quick questions. You mentioned wide open with the camps and catering to the fans, and of course, David, you've always been private. Now we're in a Twitter world, Facebook world. Coach Paterno would have never ever dealt with stuff like that, and he's only been gone for 3 years. God bless his soul. But he kept his camps pretty private. Kept it. It was almost like a family there. That the coaches, the players, it was a fraternity there, and he closed the door. He flat out just told the media, "You can see me on media day, but I'm not going to answer 24/7 questions unless it's a press conference." But it's a totally different world now.
Yeah, you got everybody tweeting and Facebooking and
sure.
Instagramming and all this stuff. And hey, don't get me wrong, social media works.
Sure.
It works it works for businesses. It works for anybody trying to expand, their territory. But it's something about being intimate that is very sacred and is very favorable. And that's what I think Joe Paterno, he stood for. He knew once September hit, when he let those young pups and the Lions get out there at the gates and start playing, he knew that's when the media was going to be there. That was their right to be there.
Sure.
But for that month or those 3 weeks, when he had time to groom, guys for that in that training camp, that was his time. That was him and his coach's time to have that intimate, family set oriented, feel and really allow guys to make mistakes, but obviously get on guys behind closed doors. And you don't see that a lot. You don't see that a lot more. You see guys taking their problems to the media, which is one of the worst ways of anything you could display as far as being, on a team. So I would say social media is good in some instances. In some instances, it has hurt and hindered. It has hindered some sports teams.
2 more quick questions. How hurt were you by all the scandal from several years ago? And of course, do you think they're on their way back now with Coach Franklin? I hope they take the names off the back of the jerseys, though, David. I really do.
Yeah, I was. Everybody was affected by that. Especially if you have played for. Like I did, I played for, Jerry.
Yeah.
And I've seen, my 4 years, my tenure there, I saw a lot of things where I saw people getting helped, a lot through the foundation. But, to look hindsight, and to imagine that stuff was going on, it's just like finding something out about a family member, maybe, 12, 13 years later that you never knew. So, I really, a lot of guys didn't expect a lot of the things that came out, but we've moved on. And, one of the things I can say about, me following Penn State and the Bleacher Report and all those things, we have picked up some great recruits. Moving in the right direction, and people talk about Nick Saban down there in Alabama, and they talk about him as a coach. But I tell you one thing, he knows how to recruit. That's the number one thing.
Sure.
And that's what builds his national championship teams, and obviously that's number one. So I think we're on a good foot off of getting the right type of caliber athletes to go in there. So we're heading in the right direction.
All right, last.
But it definitely affected everybody.
Yeah, it did. And of course, you were there with him the last 4 years, but even Coach Welsh was an assistant with Coach Paterno. So many people went through that program. Unbelievable. Franco Harris, it's unbelievable. Last thing, Redskins, keep the name or lose it?
Well, that's for me. I would say to Dan Snyder, hey, do what's going to be best for the NFL. The NFL is bigger than the NFL, is bigger than the Redskins.
Yep.
It's bigger than Daniel Snyder. It's a huge entity. I would say you got so many people watching it from around the world. I would say do the right thing. I don't know if that's a yes or a no, but me knowing Daniel Snyder, he likes money, so.
Yeah.
He understands that this trademark thing is going to hurt his pocket. So I would expect that he's going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't do it right for the humankind, he's going to definitely do it right for that dollar.
Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't always fall on him. It's also Jack Kent Cook never did nothing about it either. But, David, good luck to the golf tournament this week. All the best to you and your family. And we look forward to staying in touch and talk anytime you want to here on the radio with me.
Greg, thank you so much for having me on. We're excited about being back home. And, hey, if you got time, come on out. Show us your skills out there on the golf course.
Yeah, my mom used to teach summer school with David's dad, so we go back a long way. All right, my friends, say hello to Paul and everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, David Macklin, former Penn State great. Let's go to our business spotlight with Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate in Virginia Beach, the premier place to get all your candy and sweets. How are you today, Brenda?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
Very good. It's hot outside, but it's cool inside the Royal Chocolate. Tell us about the location and everything about it.
We are right in smack dab in the middle of town center. We are not very far from Bravo's on the same side of the street as California Pizza. And great parking there as well, great free parking all throughout town center. So, yeah, hot outside, but really cool inside the Royal Chocolate.
Absolutely, and the phone number is 557-6925. Of course, it's Christmas in July, and it's kind of hard to believe, we're still in the middle of the summer enjoying the ocean front and the beach and everything, but once you get past Labor Day, it's really all about the holidays.
It's funny. Before I was in retail, I used to think, why in the world would people be interested in Christmas in July?
Yeah.
And I find my head already going to that time of year because there's so much to do to prepare for the holidays.
It is.
It's a massive task. You've got to be ready, order very early. So, yeah, we're not too far into it, but, yeah, we're kind of planning Christmas already.
Yeah, it's around the corner. Talk about some of the items you have there in stock.
We've got, a little bit of everything. We make so much of our own chocolate right there. We have about a case and a half of chocolate that starts with a really high-quality Belgian chocolate, and we take off from there. We dip Twinkies and we dip gummy bears and just about everything you can think of. We do the gourmet apples. They're a huge hit. But we have other lines of chocolate, too. We have beautiful truffles and a lot of sugar-free. And I think people sometimes forget the need for a high-quality sugar-free. Not everybody who loves chocolate can tolerate the sugar, so that's very important. We're doing a new thing this summer. We're doing two new things, actually. We're doing some kids' events, which are great for summertime. So that's kept things really hopping around the store.
And give us your hours there.
We are open 10 to 9 Monday through Saturday and 12 to 5 on Sunday.
TheRoyalChocolate.com. You can find them on Facebook, also on Twitter. It's all about interacting, really. Brenda, it really is.
It is. Our customers are incredibly important to us, and it's so much fun to see them come back time after time. The summertime is always great to see people in Virginia Beach. This is maybe their yearly vacation, and so many people say, we never come to Virginia Beach without stopping at the Royal Chocolate, and that means a lot to us.
Are you ever closed?
We are closed. Not much.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, well, things like 4th of July, Labor Day, certainly we close. This winter we were closed about 5 days, but typically we're pretty much there because chocolate lovers want their chocolate 7 days a week.
And they want it right now. Give them a call at 557-6925, theroyalchocolate.com. Give our best to Terry as well, and we'll talk to you again next month, Brenda.
Okay, sounds great.
Always a pleasure.
Day,
you too. Thank you. All right, Ken, let's get to what teased me off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
And I'll do this pretty quick. How the Nets got rid of Jason Kidd because he wanted a raise in management. He is now with the Bucks. Who doesn't want a raise? They talk to management. Ken, how about jingles? They're just annoying. I don't like them.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. It's the whole thing. You remember the things that annoy you. You don't remember the good stuff.
Exactly right. And how about people just assume? You know what assume means? Making you know what out of you and me both. Yeah. How about preoccupied people in customer service? You're trying to give them your cash or your credit card, and they can barely make eye contact because they're so worried about what their coworker or next person in line is going to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Customer service should mean customer service.
People that give you the receipt, food, and change at the same time.
I haven't had that happen
in a drive-thru.
Oh, okay.
Any mention of Bigfoot? Funny? Really? There is no Bigfoot, folks. Sorry to say that to you. There's bears. Yes, we have them in Virginia Beach, too.
Well, I don't know. My size 13.5s might disagree.
Yep. Broken promises. Can we hear that all the time?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Speaking of broken promises, the Toronto mayor, Rob Ford, he's full of broken promises.
He's full of something.
Ken, the red light cameras, they don't work because, number one, you have no idea when it's going to turn yellow and the intersections are so long.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's just a money-making device that doesn't improve safety or prevent accidents.
And the last two things, poor quality plastic bottles for bottled water. You know what? The better brand names have better quality bottles, too. The last thing you want to do is have it leak or open up and the cap is breaking.
Yeah, when you grab it, you shouldn't squirt water all over the place.
Yeah, and the last thing, Morgan Freeman, what is the fascination with him? Really, what is the fascination with Morgan Freeman in any movie, Ken? You're a movie person. What acting has he really done?
He has a very good agent.
He must be. All right, I want to thank all our great guests today, Bill Oakes, David Macklin, Brenda Tusing. For more, go to HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors, as well as HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650, WHKT Portsmouth, 1 o'clock.